So today we will discuss about the function test. We need to study two function tests. One is liver function test and another one is kidney function test. When we actually learn function tests, these are a battery of tests based on the function of that particular organ that will let you to diagnose any abnormality of that particular organ. So let us now start with the liver function test. We will start with the liver anatomy and physiology. The adult liver weighs about approximately 1.2 to 1.5 kilogram. It is located beneath the diaphragm in the right upper quadrant. It is in the right upper quadrant of the abdomen and is protected by the ribs and held in place by the ligamentous attachments. The functional anatomical unit of liver is the acinus, which is, you can see it here, acinus, which is adjacent to the portal triad. You can see the portal triad that is listed here, which consists of a branch of portal vein, hepatic artery and the bile duct. Each acinus is a diamond-shaped mass of liver parenchyma. Liver parenchyma is the liver parenchymal cell that is supplied by the terminal branch of portal vein and of the hepatic artery and is drained by the terminal branch of the bile duct. The blood vessels radiate towards the periphery forming sinusoids, which perfuse the liver and ultimately drain into the central hepatic vein. So continuing the liver anatomy, you can see the right left hepatic duct, hepatic vein, gallbladder, then you can see the cystic duct which will combine with the pancreas to form the common bile, pancreatic duct to form the common bile duct. You can see the portal vein, hepatic artery, and you can see this the unit central vein branch and other units together. It is good to know what are the functions of liver so that you can understand the test. The first is excretory function of the liver that is diagnosed by the presence of bilirubin, bile acids and ammonia. Synthetic function, liver is involved in the synthesis of plasma proteins, nutritional proteins like albumin, prealbumin and retinol binding protein, alpha and beta globulins, coagulation factors like factors so that the test like prothrombin time factor 2, 5, 7 and 9 can be detected. Synthesis of cholesterol, triacyl glycerol, lipoprotein, bile acids, so all happens in liver. Then urea from ammonia, that also happens in the liver. So these are all synthetic functions of liver. Looking at the metabolic function, look at the carbohydrate, glycogen breakdown and gluconeogenesis, lipids, ketogenesis, fatty acid synthesis and breakdown, protein catabolism, citric acid cycle and ATP production. Detoxification, ammonia to urea, bilirubin bile pigment, cholesterol, drug metabolites. We have protective functions that in face of the acute phase proteins and the coagulation factors are produced. Storage function, storage of glycogen with vitamin A, D, E, K and B12, minerals like iron. Hormonal function, modification and activation of hormone takes place in the liver. So into individual one, excretory functions which we already told, bilirubin, bile acids and ammonia, these are all tests, that is synthetic function, we have seen this all, plasma proteins, albumin, prealbumin, retinol and retinol binding, alpha beta globulins, coagulation factors, cholesterol, triacyl glycerol, lipoprotein, ammonia from urea from ammonia. Metabolic function, glycogen breakdown, gluconeogenesis, ketogenesis, fatty acid synthesis and breakdown, protein catabolism, TCA cycle and ATP product. Detoxification function, ammonia to urea, bilirubin, cholesterol and drug. Protective function, synthesis of acute phase proteins and coagulation factors. Storage function, so glycogen, vitamin, ADEK, B12 and iron. Hormonal modification and inactivation. So test based on the secretory functions which we have seen. Bilirubin, as we will learn about bilirubin again. Bilirubin has two fractions called conjugated and unconjugated, and when they sum together it will give the total bilirubin fraction. So this is helpful in diagnosing in many liver abnormalities. Urine bilirubin present or absent in urine. Urine bilinogen, normally it is present whether it is increased or absent. Serum bile acids, whether it is increased or normal in blood. So this all will help us to identify the diseases. So we'll look into one by one. Serum bilirubin, it is increased in jaundice. Increased unconjugated bilirubin is seen in prehepatic jaundice. Increased conjugated bilirubin is seen in posthepatic jaundice. Both conjugate and unconjugated levels are elevated in hepatocellular damage. So you can identify the prehepatic, hepatic and posthepatic jaundice using the bilirubin conjugated and unconjugated fraction. Urine bilirubin is absent in normal urine. It is found in the urine. It is found in posthepatic jaundice. Okay, in prehepatic jaundice bilirubin is absent. So urine bilirubin will be absent in prehepatic, will be present in the posthepatic. And urine urobilinogen in decreased excretion of urobilinogen are absent in posthepatic jaundice due to obstruction, and increased levels are seen in prehepatic jaundice due to increased production. Serum bile acid normally is 0.3 to 1.3 milligram per deciliter. Serum bile acid levels are increased in hepatocellular disease, that is hepatic parenchymal disease, cirrhosis and obstruction in portal disease. Serum bile acid concentration more due to impaired uptake and secretion of heparin, and increased bile acids levels are more marked in cholestasis, that is obstruction. Test based on excretion of xenobiotic or clearance test. Xenobiotics are a toxic substance. So liver helps us to eliminate most of the toxic substance in our body by either conjugating with some substance so that it can be excreted into the bile. So you can see many examples. Xenobiotic used in clearance test is BSP, aminopyrin, indocyanine, caffeine, Ross Bengal, sodium benzoate, etc. At this stage or at this era, we don't use any of this because being an exogenous substance, these are not used. Synthetic function, liver synthesize plasma proteins, blood coagulation factors, lipoproteins, urea, etc. These values will be decreased when there is a parenchymal disease or liver cellular damage as in hepatitis. Look at the synthetic function. Serum albumin. In several liver disease, hepatic albumin, hypoalbuminuria occurs. So it's a typical characteristic of liver parenchymal disease. There is a hypoalbuminuria. And serum globulins in chronic liver disease, globulin will increase due to decreased clearance by hepatocytes. IgA level increases in cirrhosis, IgG level increase in autoimmune hepatitis and cirrhosis, IgM increase in biliary cirrhosis. Look at the prothrombin. Prothrombin we characterize into two types of prothrombin. PT, we simply do the PT. If it is prolonged, it can be of two causes. It can be either liver damage or it can be obstruction. So what we do, if the PT is prolonged, we will it can be due to vitamin K deficiency also. So what we will do, we will inject vitamin D, vitamin K, and redo the PT. Okay, so if PT is prolonged even after vitamin K injection, it is not obstructive jaundice. It is due to the parenchymal disease. So if it is corrected, that means it was due to obstructive jaundice where lipids were not absorbed, so vitamin K deficiency caused the increased prothrombin. There are other proteins like ceruloplasmin, antitrypsin, hepatoglobin, and transferrin also in liver function studies. Blood urea. The blood urea concentration is decreased in cases of liver failure, hepatocellular, because ammonia cannot be converted to urea. So ammonia concentration will increase in hepatocellular diseases. Test based on metabolic function. So liver is involved in conversion of galactose to glucose and distribution of ammonia, etc. Galactose tolerance test was a test previously used to identify the tolerance capacity. In case of liver disease, the tolerance is less. Blood ammonia concentration can directly measure the ammonia in EDTA plasma. The concentration will be increased in liver disease. Enzyme test. There are several enzymes released by the hepatocytes or the cells of the liver. They may be either cytosolic or mitochondrial or membrane associated enzyme. This enzyme release depends upon the severity and specific disease of the liver. We have transaminase, alkaline phosphatase, gamma glutamyl transpeptidase, 5-nucleotidase as the enzymes that are typical for liver function. There are two transaminases that are involved in liver diagnosis. They are known as alanine aminotransferase or ALT, aspartate aminotransferase or AST. They were known as SGPT and SGOT early. So both ALT and AST are increased in hepatocellular diseases. Both are increased. Remember that ALT divided by AST will be always above 1 in liver disease. Okay. In alcoholic liver disease, AST level will be higher than the ALT. Alkaline phosphatase is a membrane bound enzyme. Whenever you hear alkaline phosphatase, remember that is connected with the biliary tree. So it is a typical marker for biliary tree obstruction. So when it is obstructed, this will leak into the plasma and result in a plasma elevation of alkaline phosphatase. So it tells about the obstruction, and when it is increased, it is mildly only increased in hepatocellular diseases. Gamma glutamyl transpeptidase, since ALP is connected with many other diseases also like bone, placenta growth, etc. Gamma glutamyl transpeptidase is a typical marker for liver obstruction as well as the fatty liver disease or cirrhosis. There will be about 10 to 30 times increase in biliary obstruction, and it is more sensitive than ALP as I told you just now. Alcoholic cirrhosis also can increase the gamma GT. So it is used in fatty liver, alcoholic livers, liver cirrhosis, etc. 5-nucleotidase has a similar pattern of that of gamma glutamyl transpeptidase. It is specific for the obstruction of the liver, biliary cirrhosis. And when you look at the differential diagnosis, it's good to understand there are three types of disease: pre-hepatic jaundice, hepatic jaundice, and post-hepatic jaundice. There are other names of pre-hepatic causes for pre-hepatic. Hemolysis is the major cause of pre-hepatic, or an increased production is the cause. The cellular damage is a cause for hepatic jaundice. It can be due to either virus or toxin. There is an obstruction or flow obstruction that happens in post-hepatic jaundice due to any of the reasons listed below. The synonyms are hemolytic or neonatal jaundice for hemolysis pre-hepatic jaundice, hepatitis for hepatic jaundice, obstructive regurgitative or surgical jaundice for post-hepatic jaundice. Area of problem is, as you know, pre means before liver, Hepatic means in the liver and post means after the liver. So the issue is either before or in or after the liver. Serum total bilirubin is increased in prehepatic jaundice, also increased in hepatic and post-hepatic jaundice. So that is why we call them jaundice. Jaundice is a condition when the bilirubin is increased above 2.5 mg per deciliter, where the soft tissues will be pigmented yellow. When the total bilirubin is increased, if the indirect bilirubin is increased, it is increased only in prehepatic jaundice. It can have biphasic picture in hepatic jaundice. It will be normal or only slightly increased in post-hepatic jaundice. When you look at the direct bilirubin, it will be normally or slightly increased in prehepatic jaundice, biphasic in hepatic jaundice, and it will be increased in the post-hepatic jaundice. So an increased indirect bilirubin shows prehepatic and increased direct bilirubin shows the post-hepatic jaundice. These are typical markers. Urine bilirubin will be absent in prehepatic jaundice. This is basically because the bilirubin in the prehepatic jaundice is the bilirubin albumin complex. Since albumin is not secreted into the urine, it cannot be present in the urine. So the bilirubin in the post-hepatic jaundice is a conjugated bilirubin that can regurgitate and get into the blood and excreted into the urine. So in post-hepatic jaundice, the bilirubin will be present in urine. So that's a typical positive. So this is another differential diagnostic tool, urine bilirubin, that is absent shows prehepatic, present shows post-hepatic jaundice. Then comes urobilinogen will be highly increased in prehepatic jaundice because of increased lysis or increased production of bilirubin itself, and will be normal in hepatic jaundice, will be absent in post-hepatic jaundice because the urobilinogen is formed only after the bilirubin is reaching the small intestine. So here there is an obstruction happens so that the bilirubin doesn't get into the small intestine, it instead regurgitated back into the bloodstream, so that it will be present as urine bilirubin in the urine. Prothrombin time will be normal in prehepatic jaundice because there is no problem in liver. Will be prolonged in hepatic jaundice and also in post-hepatic jaundice. So in order to distinguish between hepatic and post-hepatic jaundice, you have to give vitamin K injection and redo the PT. So if it is normal, it is prehepatic. If it is prolonged, it is hepatic. And if it is normal, post-hepatic. So the prolonged post-hepatic prolonged vitamin K will become normal after vitamin K. Prolonged PT will become normal after vitamin K injection. If the case is due to vitamin K deficiency. If it is hepatic jaundice, it will not be corrected. So the prolonged PT will be sustained. Serum albumin, as albumin being synthesized in the liver, will only decrease in the hepatic jaundice, will be normal in other prehepatic and post-hepatic. Similar is the case of cholesterol. It will be normal in hepatic jaundice, but it will be decreased in hepatic jaundice, but will be increased in the post-hepatic jaundice. The increase in serum cholesterol is typical as in the case of it is typical for post-hepatic jaundice as well as in the case of the hypothyroidism. In both cases, we can see a severe increase in cholesterol, sometimes reaching 500 mg per deciliter and all. That is basically because the cholesterol is reabsorbed in the small intestine based on the blood vessels, and cholesterol is synthesized by the liver. It is coming through the bile ducts and reaches the small intestine and reabsorbed absorbed in the small intestine to regulate it. So even though the dietary cholesterol and liver cholesterol are there, this absorption process is the one that is regulating it. Since there is an obstruction here, whatever cholesterol synthesized will be regurgitated back into the blood circulation. There is no proper control in the intestinal level. When you look at the AST and the ALT, they have both the same picture of highly increased in hepatic jaundice because they are abundant in the hepatic parenchyma. It will be normal in pre-hepatic and will be normal or slightly increased in the post-hepatic jaundice. Look at the ALP, gamma GT and 5-nucleotidase all has the same pattern. Will be normal in pre-hepatic jaundice, will be normal or slightly increased in the hepatic jaundice, will be highly increased in the post-hepatic jaundice. So this tells about the differential diagnosis of liver function. So to review, albumin is done to assess the synthetic function of the liver. Cholesterol is increased in both the hepatic and increased in post-hepatic jaundice. Alkaline phosphatase is increased in post-hepatic jaundice. SGPT is increased in hepatic jaundice. Direct bilirubin is increased in pre-hepatic jaundice. Post-hepatic jaundice. PT is increased in both hepatic and post-hepatic jaundice.